too low to meet expectations, and some people just don't give. I want to say something quickly about pension coverage. This is a chart of deciles, rather like the ones Brian Nolan was showing earlier on, except it shows pension coverage by income decile. And lo and behold, this now means occupational coverage, second pillar occupational coverage. And lo and behold, if you haven't got much money, you don't save a lot of money for second pillar pension schemes. And you regularly hear figures quoted in Ireland that, oh, pension coverage is only 50%. That's an all ages figure. It's actually 65% of the peak age group, which is in the late middle age for reasons I won't bore you with. So it's not as low as it appears. But of course it's very low in very low income deciles. But income in those deciles is mostly social transfers. And the implication that somehow we should get pension coverage way up to 8% or 9%, the implication, second pillar coverage, the implication of that is that people whose income is very low and whose income is mostly social transfers, which are constant through their lifetime anyway, should smooth their income by consuming less income now and save up lots of dosh for when they're older. And as Ross Alvin and various people keep pointing out, that's not consumption smoothing, it just doesn't make any sense at all. And the notion that we should have pension coverage targets for second pillar pensions that are very high doesn't make much economic sense. This is another reason, and this chart is Nicholas Barr's paper, the admin costs of individual private pension schemes are very high, even for occupational schemes, for collective DC schemes. I want to just say a few words quickly about 2 points, and then I'll stop. The first is about the first is about defined benefit versus defined contribution schemes. And a lot of people mourn the disappearance of defined benefit schemes. 70% of all defined benefit schemes in the UK are now closed to new members. There are none being started, and most people think it's just a dying product. In Ireland, the number of people in DC schemes is now about the same as in DB schemes. There are very few being opened. The process is slower here than in the UK. It started later, but it looks as if it's a dead duck in Ireland too. And employee representative groups always mourn that because they place a value on the fact that the company is the sponsor of the scheme and is the backstop if the scheme goes bust. And I'm sure if you're a Waterford glass worker, you're terribly pleased about that. The Irish law contains this bizarre provision that if the company goes bust, the backstop cannot be delivered. All the funds go first to the retired members, and the contributing members who are still working are left high and dry. They're also out of work and they get no redundancy. Smashing social policy. But the lesson, it seems to me, to be drawn from that is that private business corporations, unless they're from the old monopoly capitalism era, are not suitable vehicles to carry 50-year and 60-year. They're not suitable repositories for backstopping pensions. And there are numerous examples. British Airways is the one that's always quoted, of companies whose pension liabilities exceed the market cap of the company. And BA is regularly described as a large pension fund with a small airline subsidiary. So how do I put it? The belief that trade unions have, or some of them have, in this defined benefit, employer-sponsored model, I just don't have that much faith in capitalism. And it's always fun to find yourself a little bit to the left of trade unions on something. I just want to finish by saying something about index-linked bonds. And there are really 5 main kinds of index instruments, of debt instruments that you can issue. There's public bonds, paper, commercial paper, floaters, treasury bills, and index linked. And in current circumstances, I always think of it really, the Irish Exchequer has never issued index. I always think of it a bit like going out for a round of golf. You're allowed to have 14 clubs if you're playing golf. You don't have to use them all. And if the weather is blustery, you would use different ones from the ones you use if it's not. And I don't see why you would deny yourself any of these. If you believe that, the current people who buy bonds are either nervous about inflation, nervous about deflation, or they can't make up their minds. Well, if they're nervous about inflation, you can flog them index-linked bonds. If they're nervous about deflation, you can flog them bullet bonds. And if they can't make up their minds, you can flog them floaters. So why don't you have all the product that you can on the shelf? You don't absolutely have to issue it. There's a couple of other benefits of having index-linked bonds here. One is that it would provide some kind of a solution to the investment risk problem of DC schemes. It would make it possible for DC scheme owners, including personal pension owners, to put a slice into something pretty secure that was backed by the government and that was index-linked. And of course it would also facilitate the creation of a real annuities market, which in turn would facilitate things like structured settlements in compensation cases. One of the weaknesses in our compensation legislation here in Ireland is that there are nominal lump sum settlements, which creates work for lawyers, but huge longevity investment risk for accident victims. So I think that the National Treasury Management Agency is facing blustery conditions on golf course, and we'll be playing a lot of golf over the next few years. So I think it should head out there with a full set of products. Thank you.
That was fantastic, Colm. I wrote a paper a couple of years ago for the ESRI where I said that the biggest single threat facing the sustainability of Irish living standards was under-provision for retirement. Now, the main thing that shows my lack of skill as an economic forecaster turned out to be not the biggest threat. But I think certainly long-term these issues are not going away, and Colm certainly hit on many of the major challenges. So we turn it over to questions. Again, we'll collect the questions and then give Colm an opportunity to respond. So the first question might go back. So again, if you could just introduce yourself, that would be fantastic.
Hi, it's Sarah Carey again. I'm